Hello, gamers, and welcome back to VALORANT NA Challengers. I'm your host, Gompers, and again, I'm joined by Tenric and Keg Shouts. Keg, are you shouting as loud as you can today?
Yes, I am.
Why did that sound so sus? Tenric, I agree with Tenric. I'm done.
Well, okay, it's all mine now. But look, there's a lot of shouting that we had to do today. The first series today was awesome to see. Even though the scoreline was a little drastic at times, it was still pretty entertaining.
No, it truly was. And obviously, we have a new set of matches today. For those of you guys who aren't aware, we just finished our match of M80 versus Core. Now we're heading up to Oxygen versus Dobros. Two teams that are honestly kind of polar opposites, Keg.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dobro is similar to Core. They've had to go through the trenches. They're an open qual demon. They came very, very close to getting relegated in the relegation bracket. In fact, they qualified to get back in the Challengers through the lower bracket of relegation. Like, that is a razor-thin line to almost not be here.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah. No,
I mean we've seen this team take one crazy journey to get back through relegation. I mean, those were some of the closest matches we've seen. That one versus, I want to say it was Resonate, was really tight. They've had some close shaves, but these guys have proven time and now time again that they are worthy of being here. And in the standings, it shows they've nabbed a win. They're actually second in the standings in the group right now in such a weirdly, like, I don't know how to call it, what kind of competitive to call it, but it is some kind of competitive, man.
Oh, to put it into perspective, right? Dobros have had more series wins in Stage 2 than they did in the entirety of Stage 1, which is one win.
Yeah.
It's
not
brutal.
counting relegation.
It's okay, because Dobros in particular, they try their best, and I think that's very fair and valid against a team like Oxygen, obviously being the top dogs and whatnot. It's difficult. It is difficult, but I believe, because I'm controversial, I voted actually for Dobros to win the series. I know, call me crazy, but that's just, I guess I am.
Well, I don't think we'd call you too crazy. I think this team definitely has some crazy upset potential. I mean, we've already seen it. They took down Turtle Troops in like 16, 17 here, or was that a different game?
I mean,
they've taken it really far.
Turtle Troop to Oxygen, though.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. That is true. But obviously, moving here with Dobros and what we got cooking. So this is actually their match history in wins. So they have had throughout the season, I believe it's for Stage 1 for promotion relegation and Stage 2, Week 2. This team has had a lot of difficulties pulling through with the win. So you can obviously see it has been proven to be quite difficult. Obviously, Stage 2 looking a lot better, winning against Core. And for me, Tenric, this is a huge dub.
Oh, absolutely. No, they're feeling so good after that went on to Core, and it's because they did everything right against Core. I hope that a lot of people were tuning into the last match, not only because of the new M80, but because of Core, because they're such an entertaining team, and they know how to do a lot of things right, mainly their aggression, their proactivity, and newer teams and lower teams like Dobros have notably had a lot of trouble dealing with that hyper-aggressive style, but they played such a great counter-active structure, especially on Sunset, to just completely shut down so much of Core's tempo. They were really strong looking in this previous matchup, and it's only up from here for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dobros are on the right track. I think so far in Stage 2, they've won their only series so far in non-relegation matches. They've gone the map through all the other ones. They're exactly where I think they need to be. But Oxygen's going to be a bit of a roadblock. This is a team that's like scientifically engineered to win Ascension. Like, they are prepared for it.
They are, and their wins say so as well. Moving to the next team, whose win list might look a little bit bigger. It is going to be Oxygen, and listen, everyone's got smiles on their faces because they know what they're capable of here, Tenric.
Yeah, they really are such a powerhouse team. Ever since we saw the switch up, especially with Dapper hopping in the mix, this team has just gotten better and better by the millisecond. They are so meteorically good. Their attacks, don't even get me started. Their defenses, I could get started. I'm sure I will later in the match. But every single one of these players has been in MVP contention for Split 1 and will probably be in MVP contention for Split 2. They are so unfathomably good compared to so many of these teams. And in the toughest group we've seen in North American Challengers, I think ever, they still sit so far atop everybody else. It is such a crazy gap that they've created, and they look to make it a 6-0 gap in this match against Dobros.
It's so weird to talk about Oxygen, like as in dissecting them apart and look at individual members, because it really feels like they're a team that's like the sum of their parts. They are this gigantic unit when they all form together that they just flow into each other so well. You know, is the impact of Mitch better than Verno? You really can't say that because they all complement each other perfectly.
It's true. And I think too, like obviously for Oxygen, it's just like you said, the whole team complements each other. The whole team understands the dynamic, and they've been winning. They've been running with the wins. The one thing as well, this team is an OT demon. They love to head over to those OTs, but Keg, you actually said it best in the green room. They love to close it out.
Yeah, they're great closing teams, and I mean, a lot of teams so far in Challengers we've seen struggle doing that. I mean, look, even Tier 1 teams struggle with closing out games. That's a gift that Oxygen has. You can go as many rounds as you want, but all that really matters at the end of the day is that you win.
Winning is key, but of course, another player that I would like to highlight as well is Verno. This is actually a player that we had talked a little bit about, you know, prior to the broadcast, just more so. He is more of that initiator role, not playing into the duelist of Redux, you know, obviously that top frag player, but they're always either first or second on the leaderboard with multiple assists. This player is super strong. They really love to, again, make Redux shine as well as take in those 2Ks. Majority of the time, you'll see 2Ks going in left and right. And for Verno in particular, it's more so of a player that I feel like is going to be someone that we need to watch here, Tenry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Verno is such an important fulcrum to the attack structure of Oxygen, which is what they're so well known for. He's more than willing to take the brunt of the punishment from whatever they're walking into so that, like you said, players like Redux can be so well enabled. I like talking about the defensive end of Oxygen because I think it gets really overlooked. But ever since Dapper got swapped in as that 6th man and Nerf moved to that coach role, we've seen such an insane level of again, Ascension. I don't know why that word's coming to mind so easily for me here.
I wonder why.
There's no context that could possibly. But seriously, the ways in which they've found even more options and tools at their disposal, they are a true superpower walking into this match, this series, the Mid-Season Cup, which they won, the playoff tournament, which they likely will have first seed in. They are so universally good. It's really, like Kek said, he said it so well, it's really hard to not talk about an individual on this team because they're all just so dang good.
Yeah, and I mean, circling back to Verno, right? I think that's why we chose him to like really highlight him for today, is that his consistency has been so key. You could look at your duelists all day, you could look at the controllers, I suppose, the sentinels getting to get kills after their utility, but when you have the ability to just be good every single game, win or lose, that's a special gift in of itself.
I agree, but of course, with the gift comes the giving, and I want to give you guys map picks and bans, which is what I know for you guys. Happy birthday!
Thank you. That's close enough.
I don't know when your birthdays are, nor do I care. I'm kidding. Please tell me after. Please tell me after. Dobros, obviously banning Breeze and Split, and then Oxygen banning Lotus and Icebox. Map pick a set, Sunset, and Bind. I want to go over to you, Keg. What's going on here?
For the most part, Oxygen, it's safety city for both teams, but Oxygen does edge out of the vetoes a little bit more. These are more comfortable maps that we've seen Oxygen play since the dawn of time, and Dobros, again, their map pool's not nearly as big in terms of successes of what Oxygen have, but they do have the narrowed factor of working a little bit more with Ascent and possibly some reworking of Sunset that I feel like they could have a fighting chance.
There's also a huge category of, obviously what I'm seeing, a repetition of there's always one map that each team freaking hates. and it's Breeze for Dobros, and then it seems like here it's Icebox for Oxygen. And one of these days, we're going to see it. But today, absolutely not. Obviously, Ascent, Sunset, and Bind taking place. Sunset, a pick that Oxygen really like to choose from. And to no surprise, obviously, they play Immaculate on Sunset, which we'll be able to get to see how Immaculate this team plays on every single map, Tenric.
Well, except Bind, if Oxygen doesn't take us there. I mean, like you said, they're very comfortable on Sunset. I think Dobros made the right choice in picking Ascent because it's often something that Oxygen makes into a second ban if it's not Icebox. Icebox is normally their second ban, but you know, Oxygen is kind of willing to part with Ascent, but I don't think that should be mistaken for their inability on it. So Bind also being let go by Dobros is kind of the best possible risk they could take, because Oxygen's win rate is like a little more so-so there, and they look pretty solid on it sometimes. It's just, there's a lot of uncertainty walking into this map pool, but both teams are kind of okay with that. They just want to play.
Yeah, I mean, Oxygen and the Vito's really want to go for smaller maps. They want to take these fights early on. They want to make it scrappy. They want to show how good that consistency and synergy within the members of their team can really be. And again, the first two maps of regulation are the best examples that we could possibly see of it. And if we go to Bind, it's another very small punchy map to work with.
It is, and obviously with that first map being Ascent, eventually we'll be able to see what compositions we're cooking up. But again, I'm going to do what I did before at the first game. Guys, before we head in, really quick, Tenric, you go first. What is the series looking like?
Oh, what do you think I'm going to say? It's gotta be
what a cop-out
OXG.
answer.
For a 2-0, I know. Guys, I know. Let me just play my devil's advocate here. I think Oxygen are just very good at everything in the game, and I think that is enough to make them win every time like they have so far this season. I don't know. I'm just an analyst for Valorant, but that's,
okay.
You know, those are my 2 cents.
All right, Keg, what's going on?
It's got to be a 2-0 Oxygen. I mean, look, Dobros, I think they're looking a lot better this time around. I can't really imagine much anti-stratting can work well in terms of the strategies Oxygen bring out, because again, it's not even a strategical difference usually between them and other teams. It's just how well they can communicate to each other, and that's something you can't anti-strat.
Okay, I'll give my 2 cents, and I have to stick with what I chose. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say 2-0 Dobro style.
Wow.
Anyways.
My world's crashing down on me. Everything I knew is wrong.
To avoid conflict and argument with you guys, let me go over to the Agent Select, and we're going to see exactly what is cooking up for both of these teams. But of course, I'm going to give it to you guys. I'm sorry. Take it away.
Wow.
Oh, I'm glad Gompers left when she did, because, you know, I think I was about to blow a gasket. No, I mean, look,
right.
I think Dobros do have a fighting chance in this series, and, you know, I don't want to come off as like a Debbie Downer, right? Because there's always a chance. But Oxygen have just proven over the last, I want to say nearly a year now, that they're one of the most dominant non-VCT teams in the circuit. So, you know, can they continue to keep the ball rolling? Sure. Is there a chance it could get rolled down that hill backwards? Also sure. But if there's someone to keep it going, it could very well be Dobros.
Absolutely. Dobro's really able to harness momentum. They did so well against Core last week, and it materialized into that first win that they are riding very high in the standings at the moment. Again, a group that has, well, now one team that has no wins, but even still, they are really chilling in the standings after not having to do all too much. But this matchup against Oxygen is certainly a tough one. They have chosen the defense to start things out, as this was Dobro's map pick, so we'll see a very quick Redux hop on the Jet. What else is new? Apparently not getting anything. Dobro is able to shut that down with Crowdfire, and Oxygen gonna immediately shift that way to A site.
Yeah, before we get into this, though, I want to talk about how Oxygen start off on the defense. And for most of the games that we cover on Ascent, it really feels like the team that has defense second half wins it out through overtime. So for Dobros early on, this could be a huge advantage for them. They've already removed Redux early on. The Jet's gone. Still pistol round, not a lot of utility to work with for either one of these teams. But Dapper and Mitch push up. And they're playing by themselves. Very little tradability outside of mid, but it might not matter. Mitch, he takes one, backs away. Great control.
DB on the run again. Dapper stoically holding mid as they'll rotate back, but Oxygen will be prepared for this fight. Mitch just gonna hop in, get sprayed through the door of Tree. Kill credit goes to Drone. Great proactivity from Dobros. We will get this spike down. Chalk Dart, great timing onto Drone, down to 38 HP. Everyone, save for Precision, is gonna hop into hell. That tree control could be monumental when everyone from Oxygen is coming from up top as well. Not a lot of immediate util to throw, a lot of noise being made. When does the drop happen? Not for Verno. Immediately the jump onto Jen for the extra off angle, and that's so much presence downstairs that DB simply cannot handle. And on the way back, the headshot to clutch up after everything else was stripped away, including Precision, by the way, in that hodgepodge. But what a save for Dobros on that site to grab the first round.
We talked about Verno in the pre-show, but one player we also wanted to talk about, if we just had a little bit more time, was going to be Ange, because they have been the most consistent player on Dobro's squad since the very beginning. A non-duelist, mind you, an Omen, oftentimes being that top or second frag for their team, has shown incredible control and precision that even Precision themselves would be kind of gawking at times. Ange there with the 3K, early on to set things down. Oxygen are really holding back. A lot of times, sure, you do get to see this very overly aggressive push through mid-second round into the defender spawn. It's an odd read. It's mostly for floating towards A and B site, but it's also a bit of a just in case.
Yeah, I do respect this from OXG, despite how much room you're giving and how much you're moving. Because that's a big thing, is they're just constantly rechecking stuff.
Yeah. There's not a lot of teams sometimes, it feels, that capitalize on re-clearing as much as Oxygen do.
Yeah. They really are willing to just check everything again and again and again. They don't get tired of it, and so many Challengers teams do. You can see the fatigue in the later rounds where they'll stop checking corners, but Oxygen, they just don't let up on that kind of thing. And that's the mentality that gets you up top. Exactly, yeah, they have all the oxygen in their heads. Scuba has the right angle to shut down Zachary, one of my personal favorite duelists in Challengers this year. Unfortunately, has had to kind of be the poking stick these first two rounds, though, for Dobros, so hasn't gotten to show off too much yet. But B-site will open up pretty cleanly and plainly as Dapper is going to hand this over, and Dobros are going to get the spike down.
Synergy so far for Dobros has been looking good, playing together as a team, holding these gigantic site-wide level trades. Redux completely out of position, away from their team. Can't even flank now, KJ util still active. Spike is down. Only one, make that 2 ways for Oxygen to re-push into the site. They're down weapons.
Dapper is going to make himself known as the rest of Oxygen will enact the push. So Precision is going to have to hold close, and Dapper can really play with his timing, and so Oxygen can only manage one angle, and that being stairs. So now Dobros spread a little more thin across the site. Drone having to take that back step, but timing is everything here, and Oxygen might simply not have enough of it. Yeah, there's not going to be enough time to defuse this spike. They're going to hop in, try and play for bodies, and they'll get a pretty couple of them. In fact, I think they might clear the team. If Drone won't have anything to say about it, won't. But it's still a win for Dobros.
It's a solid start. But for Dobros, I mean, yeah, on your bonus buy, it's not the end of the world to lose all your lives there. You had the buy-ups into this next round. Rifle be rifle. No! It's looking like this will be a save for DB. I'm not against this at all. They get to recoup a little bit more money into this. They can maybe take more guns away from OXG, as they've been able to do so far these last 2 rounds. But my eyes have to be on Redux. I don't want to see him overextend like he did on round 1. He needs to have his teammates play with him. But he's all alone in mid. Surely he's not going to push the tiles without the flashes, right?
No. He's just gonna watch for the early entry, and then he'll head back to market. There's certainly not a lot of noise being made by Dobros up in market. Something that Dapper is gonna shut down. And follow that up with the rest of Oxygen collapsing and dealing everything they need to deal. Dapper, good turn to grab that third before the rest of Oxygen could have a say. And believe me, they were willing to, because they were all there. They were all ready. But a pretty clean first round. Dobros, again, they're fine with letting that go, though. They feel fine.
Yeah, I mean, remember back in previous series where we had seen Ascent Map 1-2, it was a struggle to see attacking teams like Core make their way past these initial chokes. They got scared out of any potential utility that could be inside of, say, B or A main. Now, granted, Core had to go up against a Yoru and Deadlock on defense, so their story's a little different, but Now you have to worry about Redux. Vandal in hand, waiting to push up mid early on. Dapper's there for backup. This will be more aggressive from Oxygen than we had seen in the previous Ascent. They want to fish for these first bloods as much as possible. Stifle Dobros whenever they can.
Yeah, if they could poke with no consequence, that's really what they're searching for here, and Zachary is going to give it to him. You cannot follow this up with anything if you're Dobros. No trade, no positioning, nothing really gained. Yeah, I mean, they used a second flash. That's the second one they've been using here. Drone does still have one left, but a lot already burned, and now split interests to see where less resources may lie.
Owl drone out now. One in reverse, spots out only one. Call
gives...
for the KO to rotate has been made.
Yikes. That's unfortunate. Still some damage done, though.
Oh, DP are playing this so slow.
I wonder, I was going to say, why don't you just rotate when you hear the drone? Because then you know for a fact KJ and Sova are here, and I'm not taking that fight in a million years.
Ah, they're just waiting for the push-in. Stall factor with the Odin. Waiting on A side still. They know how very mind-gaming this map can be. You can't over-rotate.
Okay. The exit from Dobros, shut down by Scuba pretty convincingly. And yeah, I mean, Dobros, they didn't gain any ground off that B main push, so they can't even really play for kills here. They'll just grab Orb and giddy on out of there, giving Oxygen a very secure second round for themselves. Already the bank looking really good for them.
Yeah, the prime pieces are putting together now from Oxygen's side. You have Verno now with the Odin, locking down B. Scuba and Mitch, the KO and Omen, they always lock down A and tree site themselves. Forest Redux, once they get an operator, if they choose to do so, they can reposition just about anywhere and continue to fish for those opening picks. Yeah, Dobro is already a timeout needed. Big strat change needed. They have to play faster. However, we did talk about this before, right? DB, starting off on the attack, may turn into a blessing in disguise. Oftentimes, you're looking for just maybe 3-4 attacking rounds. You swap to the defense, and it becomes a very, very difficult endeavor for any team. So DB are already potentially halfway there. If they could secure 2 more rounds, I'd consider them good for this half.
So true, so true. Especially when they've had to play so fragmented because of just... You have to be so hyper-aware of Oxygen when you play against them. I gotta say, the team has not played off of Zachary nearly as much as they should. I think that mid-presence needs to be vied for a lot more, just because so many resources are already dipped in, and that was, I think that would have been a great insert if you threw them at the right time, or if you had another person to trade off of. But DB are just, they're so scared to commit right now, and I really do get it. I promise I do. But it's not going to matter. They're not going to be able to make any push, and they won't get those 2 or 3 rounds that they would love to have this half.
Yeah, but you brought up a good point. You know, where does Zachary exist in this attacking side? Because he's been pushing essentially by himself the last few rounds. And here he is again. He has the help now of Riku. They're going to be the ones to help out Zachary here, potentially. Good smoke down. No info on Redux, though. They did block that line of sight. Now, Riku, they're the ones looking to push in with an Odin. This is risky. No information, no flashes brought out until now. Through the smoke, alarm bot's still down. That could give away the entire plot.
We'll just let that go, and Riku's gonna maybe plot. No.
Oh,
yeah, I get it. They see way too much value in it, and they understand how much Oxygen could kind of just shift to their heels. But Zachary again,
but
spotted. There's so much.
Teams, when they pop that alarm bot, they always double back in the tree. That's been read into by Oxygen. They're already setting up for it. So they have to go back the marketplace into a funnel.
And they don't know how much of the fight is going to be here. They don't know how much of this they even want to take. I mean, if anything, they would want to double back a second time out of this. But Riku has to be that opener, and Verno shots are perfect. The spray through to look for a second one, but is actually getting a little bit too contested there. So we'll back up in favor of the rest of Oxygen, who have got things very much under control. Dapper and Redux managing market like it's butter. Precision, the last one remaining, and very scared to show his face as well. Is going to try and make a run for it, play for the exit, but is found by Scuba. Laying in wait and see. Oxygen take the lead.
Yeah, it's that fear factor coming in again. Attacking teams unwilling to make that fast push onto a site. They don't want to be trapped out in a choke. Happened on B site. Could very well happen on A. We haven't seen it happen just yet. Wait for that prime moment now to see if there's going to be any major adjustments in the Zippo replay going into the next round. But as of now, it's been a big pacing issue. Really just going into these funnels blind. No information really gathered whatsoever. Surely now Riku needs to step it up with the Owl Drone in mid. Especially now that there's two there and Redux has the op. That's good. A missed shot, but now Mitch, they can push up. They have the flashes available to splash at least 3. Oh, but they're spotted out.
Very dodgy, but Mitch is going to be able to get out. Has to burn a lot on the way, though. The time should be now for Dobros. This should be the moment that you really try to plunge the knife, but the team isn't present yet, so they've got to wait. Still play that cat angle, still play the lurk from Precision.
Yeah. DB, they need to rely on this regen util from either Riku or Drone. Knife or Bolt, 10 seconds, they have to push in the tree with it.
Good amount of firepower here, but Redux standing in the way. The Collat will do some damage to Zachary, but he has to stay undeterred, has to try to chase this down, but they don't know how much more could be in tree, and so they don't. They just let it pass, and they'll split again. Wait again to see if Oxygen might take the bait for a potential rotation or even something caught in CT by Precision. But there's no more time to waste. The flash has to be tossed and something has to be done, but it's not going to happen in tree. Instead, Precision says the call may be market as he's been able to flesh that out. But still, Verno on the way, catches Drone's head. Now looking for Zachary as well. And it's another split Dobro push that just has to be made work. But Dapper is still on site. There's no way anybody's going to be able to find anything too. In Boathouse, the TP in, Ange makes it work. Zachary still finds one, but there's no time to plant. It's an OXG win regardless, but Dobros will pick up a lot of collateral along the way. Oh, it did. There was enough time. And now Redux the chance to clutch, but no. Dobros can shut it down. What a chaotic 15 seconds, but somehow, I really don't know how, but Ange, I mean, a crucial TP to take over Boathouse. That was so well done.
That was wild. That's the best shrouded step I've seen on this team.
Sorry, y'all. That was crazy.
No, but I mean, like, a lot of times, Omen's utility on this map at all levels of play are just disturbingly underutilized. Shrouded Step comes through, blocks that line of sight, allows Ange to find one, gets traded out, but at least then the crosshairs are removed away from lane and stairs. Gives Dobros a chance to push in. They just have to speed up this tempo now, take control of A site. But the knife, I think it spots at least 3 or 4. Oh, that's rough. No, it has to spot 3, but they already know the case. No KJ around 2, that has to be outside B main. That's the problem with Ascent sometimes, is that you can read these attacking rounds so well. Very scripted at times. I do like this smoke though. It does allow options for Dobros to push in at alternate angles. Someone watching doorway can't see over bricks. Oh, but the smoke goes away. They don't take advantage.
Zachary's not even at the front here. This is not where they're going to attack. They're trying to bait out a shot that they can spray back at maybe, but it's going to get re-smoked.
But Oxygen have not been giving those plays outside the first 15 seconds.
Oh, they've already backed out. Look how far back Redux is. I'm not even playing market at this point. Yeah, that knife is good. That'll force him to stick around there, so it's the perfect time to play up main. And now that Ange is retained and Zachary set up on tree, this might be a good pinch, but it's already telegraphed to Redux. He's already rotated back through, so the Hunter's Fury is also going to get contributed, but Mitch is undeterred until Riku can finally shut that back down. Tree room overtaken, but now Scuba's posted up and can start taking those pot shots with the operator. Good miss upon the smoke. That means Dobros, again, have that opportunity to pull off these last 15 seconds with a plant. But the lockdown in response, Oxygen wants to make this happen now because Scuba is still stuck on site inside this smoke in hell and will finally get found out by Ange, but win the fight, and that's when the rest of OXG come calling. Everyone gets theirs, and it should be an easy takeaway as Precision has to swing into, I think, yeah, at least one operator and one more. So that is another lead taken back by Oxygen.
Now flee.
It's such a tease, right? OXG is giving so much space away to Dobros until those final 30 seconds. They're like, yeah, you can plant the spike, it's fine. And then they collapse right after. Because the positioning and the way Oxygen's playing is that they could take these rounds and end them 45 seconds in. They could push up, triangulate out these mid-side plays, go for an op shot, back away, allow Mitch to swing with the flash, and end the round right there. But they're playing it so safe because they know Dobros, this is one of their better maps. They've been able to take some interesting teams out of here before, and they don't want to give away too many strats. They want them to keep repeating the same things over and over, making them think it works. Have them keep playing slow. Have them plant on A site. Yes, that's right. Go for our retakes. It's like hypnosis.
This is a little closer up than normal. Look at where Scoob is at right now. Is he gonna fight this? He does see Ange, I think.
They've been battling that out before.
Oh, yeah, okay. Scuba turned around a tree and just helped out Verno real quick, and that's that tree push gone. Yeah, now you definitely can't do anything if you're Ange. You kind of just got to smoke out and back away until Riku says they found something. But stuck in mid, spike in hand, they can't really step out into the open with Redux being who knows where. So you got to play slow. You got to play off the intimidation with the recon and see what you can find, which so far is nothing. You know, Dobro's asking, really, Oxygen to maybe give away something, and Redux seems to be in the most vulnerable position. Market will get swiped through, and so Redux will duck down into logs, but Riku and Precision have their shots and are able to at least get 3 here. Hunter's Fury in response, but they'll spread out. Ooh, big tap by Verno to get that last proc of the Hunter's Fury. So Ange stands alone, 20 HP. Last 2 members of Oxygen have most of their kits and health. So this should be a pretty easy takeover, but they are going to stay clean. They don't want to lose an extra gun here, so...
It is Ange, though.
It's true. They've done crazier. Verno, first step into the smoke, turns into 2 1v1s, but Verno will not miss it. Up to 3 kills for the round, and 5 rounds for the favorite.
It's been nearly 2 months since Oxygen last played this map in Challengers. The last time they did, they had a pretty convincing loss against Core. Same exact setup, same exact comp. Mitch severely underperformed and went 4-19. This time, with Dobros not having a whole lot to go off of in terms of anti-stratting, they're forced to go back to basics and hope for the best. Learn on the fly. And certainly everyone else is, on Oxygen has learned their lesson and have been playing such a slower tempo. And this is usually one of their most banned maps too. All of Stage 1. And a lot of mid-season cup, they banned this map out. They've been hiding it away for a moment like this.
It's a big opportunity.
Oh, great paranoia early on. Redux forced to back away. Fast execution. Dobro's a change of pace. No one ever checks logs. Dude!
Yeah.
Every single time we cast this map.
That's crazy, dude. Verno scot-free. No one can collect. And we'll just keep on spraying. Sure, Dapper. I mean, why not? Sure, dude. That's 3 guns gone. Dobro's still stuck. That's just really tragic. Like that entirely depends on if Zachary looks right, you know?
Yeah, but even then, normally when you entry with a jet, your teammates fall out from behind and check the 2 50-50 corners.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to start entering lane when this guy is all the way up. He's gonna die. It's just a matter of when, and Dobros don't come calling on that, again, go button that Zachary very generously hands over before falling.
Oh, Riku could do the funniest thing right now. Of course, we're the all-seeing eye. Riku's not aware about Verno directly in their crosshairs on the other side. 30 seconds left now. Very slow game so far. A save called by DEB. Full expectation now is that OXG is going to push forwards and try to remove this Odin. And they'd be right.
Last player standing.
Oh, a shame. Yeah, Drone's gonna hear that and not even deal, I think. Oh, we'll see.
10
Maybe.
seconds left.
Oh, wow. That's crazy that Redux still finesses that.
To be fair, though, DB, they've been so-so on their attacking rounds historically in this map. Against Moist, they only won 6 rounds, Core 8, Resonate 4 themselves. Definitely been a steady increase since relegations that they've been able to improve on this map, but against Oxygen, 3 rounds doesn't seem so bad. And realistically speaking, dude, I think they only need 1 more round to be healthy here for the attack.
I definitely think Dobros can be proud of their attacks because I mean these 15-second just absolute bloodbaths that have happened work in favor.
Without Astra.
Yeah, they kind of it's a full dump all at once, and it's very interesting because it's not normally how you play this Ascent comp, but that's kind of been what's been winning lately is not playing normal Ascent. So I really respect the hustle, but there's so many moving parts that Dobros is also throwing to the wayside, and it means that they take so many fights with just such constant disadvantage, despite them gaining the ground that they want. It's like, at what cost?
It's so hard to find an advantage, though, as an attacker on this map.
It's so true. You're so right. Like, you have to remain so indecisive the whole time. And like you said, rotations are so easily telegraphed on this map. It's really hard to be unpredictable, but Dobros are doing a fantastic job of being as unpredictable as they can be.
50 seconds. Outlaw. There it is. Lockdown in place. Maybe they can lock down the outlaws and send them away. County jail. Throw away the key. That's all a bit clear, though. This is a good fake. But what is it supposed to cover? It clears the way for mid, but it doesn't help A main.
And yeah, in your tree entry, there's nothing to go off of, and they still haven't touched main. Like, Redux just had to step out for 2 seconds. Like,
no one fell for it.
Yeah.
I guess the idea is to bait out B side, but there's a smoke that's worming their way in. The double shorty Redux, the 9's on top.
Down A.
Precision is
They just smoked the down.
that was, I mean, that was unreal. Oxygen just had to take a smoke break with that lockdown. That's literally all that happened. Oh, goodness me.
Never seen such attacks.
That's 3. Oh. Okay. Jeez, dude, Redux. He wasn't, again, like, Redux was just chilling, right? The lockdown literally put him in the spot where he could play around that smoke and just go to town on the front line, and Dobros have no answer to it because again they didn't act on the lockdown. They were looking, they were chasing ghosts. And again, that's just something you got to do on this map. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be one big difference that you see from teams that are comfortable on the attack and teams that aren't, is that you have to apply pressure to these defenders. And so far, realistically speaking, there hasn't been much pressure to Oxygen except for the 3 rounds they've lost, but that was always the end of a round too. They're forced to play at a disadvantage for the only time. You have to dump the flashes, play fast, bring down that util. But this is just a big conditioning factor for OXG against Dobros. This is what they want.
And you just back away again. I mean, the first blood counter on this post-game graphic is going to be insane.
It's not even going to be a number, it's a brand new one.
First bloods to the nth degree. How about seconds? Redux yet again. Definitely here's that tailwind. You're absolutely right next to me, buddy. Bye-bye. Zachary will at least grab one for the road, though, so props. But now Ange sitting alone. Lot in their way, including Mitch, who will finalize Oxygen's 8th round.
Last round in the half.
The last round, DB have hit the bare minimum of what they need for the attack to have a solid defense. And again, the team normally that I've noticed that starts off on the attack first, goes defense second, usually can bring this home and win the map. DB's defense, though, needs to be exemplary, though. Oxygen has been a very solid team all throughout. Again, one of the few maps Oxygen has lost in the entirety of Challengers has been Ascent, but they're a team that can adapt and recorrect their mistakes.
Yeah, Dobros, they love recollecting. And they will do it very well, I'm sure, on defense. One more opportunity here. All the guns in the world. And a null command. Dude, you're so set. It's like nauseating.
Yeah, I mean, push B if you have the null command, right?
Yeah, pretty please. That would be so cool if you did. And Precision has just been hanging around this whole time, making sure that no one can poke from mid. And it looks like someone's about to get very greedy with the help of the owl drone. Dapper was doing a little something, but he'll back out. Yeah, but Spike is still sitting here on A. You're just, yeah. There's nothing to go off of here. Scuba just wants us into
This is the craziest part. This is a big calming issue, right? Scuba has been in Wine and taken out Ange before. That should be noted by the Omen. Hey, watch out for Wine. Clear that. What are the comms like for Dobros?
Are you pushing? Like, are you trying to sell? Are you trying to like double bluff the 2-man push with the null command, and then you hear everyone else? Oh no, you're gonna TP off of the dead body with the spike onto B site, but you haven't taken B site yet. Like, you haven't even gotten there. This is just a 3v5 now. This is really tough.
Yeah, question marks everywhere for DB on this attacking side. 3 rounds though, competitive, but they have to bring this over in spades on the defense.
Switching sides.
That was really rough, man.
I mean,
I can't lie.
To be fair, attack on Ascent is just brutal.
I don't particularly like doing it either, so I'm with him.
That's the Apex strat. Just bring out the wildest team comp you can. Bring out a chamber. Well, Neon's buff now. Bring out a Neon on
Yeah,
this
get a
map.
Neon in here. Oh, man.
ISO? Honestly, ISO could definitely work on Ascent now. But, like, you have to switch it up because everyone knows how to play these 5 attack and defense. Like, this is a comp that's been going on for literally years now.
Yeah, people laugh at Owl Drone now. Like, it's a consolation.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, how do you reinvent it and really keep a team on their toes? Because it comes down to just a fundamental diff. A gunfight diff, oftentimes, you have to outthink your opponent. That's also why, like, Ascent's kind of a cool map, is that this is purely a psychological map.
It really does get in your head very quick, but
it's like a Rorschach painting.
Yeah, hopefully Dobros... yeah. Yeah, Ascent is like my parents fighting. Convincing site take by OXG. Dobros have gambled a lot on this flank against a KJ, where Dapper doesn't really have to move too much. But Precision is able to get a good early entry frag and enough of a rush down so that the CT hold can't do too much. Time being wasted, though, well by Dapper. Now Scuba in the 1v1 against Zachary. Tough angle, though, so everyone else is pretty much cleared. And Doughboys will bluntly force their way onto site and really make it work. 4 still standing. Very well played.
Yeah, that was so well played by DB. Great read early on about the B execute. Oxygen, they thought they had the advantage. They did not. They did get on site, though. Look at where those red X's lie. All playing together, prioritizing trades, looking for maybe some utility dump, pistol round, not a whole lot. Red pings all over B again. What is the call here? From the looks of it, it could be a split push from B main and mid. But this is also turning into a slight default from OXG's side. Now, they are down in terms of weaponry. They have that 5-round buffer to work with here, so they don't mind losing the second round. In fact, the rounds that DB mostly capitalized on were that opening pistol and the buy-up round. Once Oxygen got rifles, it was a different story.
No mid hit here. I'm very surprised. Verno's normally a lot more excited to just get his hands dirty in the courtyard, but with nothing in tow, I guess, yeah, you don't really want to let go too much here. You're fine with handing this over to Zachary, which you know for a fact he's going to take this. He loves hanging out here, especially when he has gun advantage.
You saw that.
Yeah, he did. Mitch is going to have to back away here fully. You can't hold on to Spike and do that kind of thing. So you're just going to leave Dapper alone here for the hold against the 4-man push that has to go through a main because you can't go for catwalk control because you have 2 people staring you down from mid and 1 staring you down from tree, and you can't properly swing off of that because you don't know when smokes are coming. So you have to commit to the late engage after DB will back out again. Lack of intel means that Oxygen can kind of go for that mental reset. With 45 seconds on the clock, they can still pick their site too, but it looks like it'll be
psychology. Forcing that jet to reposition now, mid clear. This doesn't need to be a commit. 30 seconds left now. Flash comes through. Has to be a commit now. Waiting out the judge.
Oh, Ange, the panic fire. I love it. That's so great. Great patience from Oxygen, who will fully collapse and win all of their fights. Incredible take onto A site here for them. As Dobros up a creek with 2 paddles here. Zachary still with this outlaw having to enable precision with the wide swing, but it is so hard and you already have like 0 time. Another flash to slow them down. This is like the excess Molly syndrome we see on Icebox. It's just so much to stop this exit from heaven that, again, it's just so like unlocked at this point. They just know the map. Oxygen knows the matchup and they know they have this round in the bag. It's a thrifty 10th for them.
And it's so hard to reinvent the wheel on this map because you're right. There hasn't really been a lot of new strategies delved into with these usual 5 in the last year. And that's why you do see those Yorus, those deadlocks in the previous series. It refreshes the map. It makes things much more, not even competitive again, but it keeps you on your toes. You don't know what to expect. But the problem with that composition, though, is that it's not these usual 5. The ceiling of what you can accomplish with every agent aboard here can be infinite to an extent, but still readable. You're much more limited with everybody else. That's why it works once and it gets counter-adapted to immediately if you run it again.
Ooh. A lot of chips into market, as it seems. Oh, Redux is about to kick it into high gear. He looks so excited.
I don't see Neon.
I wish we did, though.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I always go back to Fusion, and during Ascension, they brought out a Sage Neon on this map. And
that was so
wild.
cool. That was so cool. But at speed, will come into play here is it looks like Oxygen are setting their sights on a very populated B site. Again, a great read by DB, knowing this very well. But can they counteract it? There's the smoke. So when does OXG act? Immediately upon the recon bolt, Redux shutting down the market off rip and trying to engage and ending up finding precision. Great switch to the shorty to catch Riku as well. But drone ratting on site can at least shut that down and will hop behind the smoke to have another chance at a swing. Easy shutdown from there from OXG, but good effort put on by DB.
Yeah, very clinical coming out from Oxygen.
Are they us?
DB, good hold, like you mentioned, a great read too. Over-rotating though. At this point, Oxygen, they should be aware that there's been a lot of big stack-ups from these defenders, that they must be over-rotating. I wouldn't be surprised into this next round or two that we begin to see more defaults from the attack. Play for picks. Again, confidence, gunfight difference has been seen both series today. You don't necessarily need to band up together and push if you're Oxygen.
Flashbang.
Yeah, they get the split push. Because I mean, they could try to sell. I mean, Redux is happy to make some noise here for as long as you want, and Scoop has already been anchoring really consistently on offsites anyway. This feels like the perfect chemistry now that everything has been bought. Mitch is gonna... This is a surprising amount of courtyard that they've actually ended up taking. I'm impressed by how confident Mitch is, but not gonna throw a lot of util. This is really brave, but they realize they can get away with a lot here.
There's no flashes to follow up. Zachary can't swing.
Yeah, you have nothing here. You have to dry peek, and Dapper is already posted up. Literally checks it too. That is tough, man. That's really unfortunate. Precision is going to be able to hold the line and solo Dapper, but now has to work against a lot of other players, and Mitch jumping right into action, quite literally. That is the ghost signal for B site, where Riku is posted. Up in Boathouse with the Odin. They can always do some fun amount of damage with this, but Redux, great angle to mitigate.
30 seconds left.
That's an easy B site.
It's 411. Possibly soon to be 412. You just lost the Odin. That's a heavy investment to get rid of. 2 weapons left. Money already not looking that great. A collective 600 credits between Drone and Ange. They're not going to be able to full buy into this next, and what could very well be final round. Okay,
Great turnaround by Drone. One more flash in the books. That one will be for lane, where Redux will have to hide behind the blocks.
Player standing.
Not a lot of time for this, but Redux is only good for one. Ange, the smoke, the immediate jump down, and Mitch is able to read that in time. Oxygen sitting pretty on game point.
Match point.
This could very well be another 13-4 that we see on Ascent today.
Pointless.
Same exact scoreline that we had seen between Core and M80 just a few hours ago. Dobros go for another timeout. It's hard to say what this timeout's going to be about. Honestly, just a reset and help the vibes would be a great option here. In terms of strategy, Dobros, they've been playing a pretty competitive defense despite not being able to convert rounds. They've been having the right reads about where Oxygen are going to end up being on their executes late round. They've been more willing to take extra space. Re-clears haven't gone well for the team. That might be something they have to look into, especially mid-site. That's going to put more onus on Zachary. 6 and 14 on your Jet. Having a struggling game.
Yeah, Zachary, unfortunately. Again, I really love when he's properly utilized on attack. but unfortunately there was just not enough firepower behind him on this first half.
It's not even firepower though. It's that, again, you always have that Jet KO
You have
synergy.
You have someone, man.
But the only person we've seen really is Precision. And Precision's great for anti-spacing with KJ utility, but not in the way Zachary needs it.
Yeah. You need Drone with you for sure, but Drone has been so focused, so laser focused on Spike, which again was such a hot topic earlier, that they were just unable to really put those pieces together. They couldn't make it fluid. It's really tough, Ascent attack, and Dobros are not the first team that just kind of collectively shrugs. But they're gonna try and make this defense work. Huge level of attack from OXG though. Redux on the blades is able to get up close and personal and make this quite lethal. The Heaven retake is a little early to the party, so early in fact that Oxygen might be content taking the fight right now. They are, with 2 members already so low, but Precision finding some good headshots before going down turns this into a contestable 3v2. Drone getting the literal drop, able to grab one as well, but Riku, oh, what a tough fight you're stuck in, and it's gonna get TP'd up to, but Verno will grab the last kill credit of the game, giving OXG a 13-4 victory.
A bit of a rough game there from Dobros. You just gotta say GG, move on, let's focus on Sunset.
Yeah, I think that's the mentality you really have to approach this with. OXG's defense, rock solid, really just did not let Dobros do much of anything. They really tried to come up with some crazy anti-strats. Look, I respect the hustle for sure, but there was so much in your way, and from there, the snowball from OXG's attack was real enough to gain them that advantage early on.
It is daunting to try to anti-strat anybody on Ascent, especially with the usual 5 coming out though. But 13-4 for both starting teams on their map pick. Hopefully we can see a change come back over from Dobros into the second map. Sunset is sunsetting its way back over. We'll see you in a little bit.
Peace.